Checking some of the records I saw on the internet, it said that this company made $15 million surplus in 2016. Question is, where does this money go and what's going to happen to it? Does it come to the state? Does it get dispersed between the shareholders, or what happens to it? This can offset a lot of this cost that you've been speaking about. Has anyone ever questioned what the CEO makes every year in this company or any company? Because mostly their increases in pay depend on what the profits are for the people that own stock in these things. I think that would be something that should be known and should be considered in any deliberations. I have been involved with public activities since I was 16 years old and still going. And I deal with quite a few, especially elderly women whose husbands have died. And you find that when either spouse dies, they lose at least a third of their income from Social Security, which is a travesty to most of them because that's what they're depending on. I know. Talk about electricity, huh? Can you hear me now? All right. Good. In dealing with them, I've come across very many of them that are really hurting when they don't have an income from any other source but Social Security. And we have many of them. People that lived years ago worked on farms, they worked in mills where there was no pensions or any other, so they rely on Social Security. And these have to be considered. In dealing with them, I can tell you that I've had some of the women call back after they've got an annuity and stuff, crying because it makes a difference of whether they eat, get their medications, pay their other bills. It's really downhearted when you hear these things. I think in dealing with these programs, and I know from some of the budgeting that I've been involved in, that everybody seems to start at where they are right now for the increases that go forward. Why don't they start at zero and have the companies prove that they need the money they have plus the raises? That's something that probably should be considered, because I think history will show that in the process like this, the company will come in and ask for an enormous figure, and then they get into compromise with the end, and they get a portion of the raise which they were probably looking for anyway. But this one here really is crazy. 53%. Does anybody ever get a 53% raise? It's out there working. You're lucky if you get 2% or less. I think that you probably should sit back and consider this. I see a lot of public hearings where people take the hearing and then they decide that same day what the decision is going to be. And I don't know how anyone can do that unless they consider what is being said. Other than that, why have the public hearing to begin with? So that's all I get. Thank you.